This is a Global Original Podcast. Well, this week's podcast was recorded when it was the week before we left the European Union to access our new perfect lives. A man calls to tell me about his organ, and somebody solves global warming with a tube.
This is absolute tosh.
What? Graham texts, wasn't Davos the leader of the Daleks? No wonder it's no wonder Trump has started a space force with what? Wasn't Davos the leader of the Daleks? It's no wonder Trump has started a space force with full stop. That's what it says. And then Star Trek logo, full stop. We are living in a TV program. Well, that part hopefully is true. We're living in a TV program. This TV program should be cancelled. This world has jumped the shark. Let's have a call in Tamworth. Eddie.
Oh, hi, Nick. Thanks for taking my call. I think I found out who Donald Trump's new national security advisor is. It used to be John Bolton, who looked like Mr. Pastry with that great big white moustache. Yes. But now I'm pretty sure it's the petrol pump attendant that was dancing to the banjo music in the film Deliverance.
The petrol pump? Oh, yeah, I know the one. Yeah, the petrol pump attendant.
Yeah. You see the Graham brothers. I think he's his national security advisor.
We're doomed.
That is as true as what was written on that red bus. But what I wanted to ask you was, is Brian May from Queen?
Yes, he is. Brian May is from Queen. Yes. Right. Do you have any other questions, Eddie?
Yeah. Yes. Will he be the first person to be on the back of a 50p piece and be on Priti Patel's Prevent programme list, because he's an animal rights
There's no
activist.
way we could fit all of that hair on the back of a 50p piece.
He's very dangerous to national security.
That's
saving,
right.
The hedgehogs and foxes and badgers.
He might break out a guitar solo any moment. Watch out, kids! All right, thanks a lot, Eddie. 0345 6060 973. Phil says, I thought chlorinated chickens had just spent too much time having fun in swimming pools. Ron says, can we please have an update on the Nick Abbot car situation? Many listeners are intrigued, I hope. There is no update. There's no update, mate. Stop asking. And News Junkie tweets, no wonder Ian Duncan Smith has to chlorinate his chickens. It's the only way he ever gets anyone to go around his house for a dinner party after his finger-licking, nose-picking session in Parliament last year. Let's have a call in Peckham. Hello, Rick.
Yes, hello, Nick.
Hey, Ricky, you're so fine. You're so fine. Hey, Ricky.
I actually rang to comment on something. Mark Francois rang into one of your House Tories.
Mark Francois. Yes, Captain Mannering.
Correct response. He was getting very, very aerated about the bongs. You remember?
Yeah, the bongs.
And he said, the presenter said, why is it so important that Big Ben should ring out? And he puffed himself up to his full pudding size and said, at times of national crisis, Big Ben has rung out. At times of national disaster, Big Ben has rung out. And I thought, Big Ben rings out 24 times a day.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, he sadly missed that point.
Yeah, nobody...
Go on, you can talk over Big Ben. Don't worry about
nobody challenged him. He just got away with it. I thought, come on.
Got away with it. I'll give you a bong.
These are the men that won the argument, remember? Duncan Smith and Mark Francois. These are our winners. These are our victors. These are the people in charge.
Well, these are the people that we have decided to follow.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong? All right, thanks a lot, Rick. Yeah, Captain Mannering said that we should be bonging for Britain. There you go. You can have that one on me. How pathetically little England is that? Not Little Britain even, it's Little England. They'll all be wheeling themselves in their Motability scooters over to Parliament Square to celebrate our glorious leaving. Assuming that they can stay up that late. It's so pathetic. Mark tweets, I wonder which TV chef or fast food chain will be the first to introduce the tastes exactly the same chlorinated vegan chicken burger wrap. And Jim says, somebody should tell Greta to wind her neck in, otherwise Donald Trump might take her out with a Reaper drone. Clapham. Hello, Richard.
Oh, hello, Nick. Good evening.
Blimey, you're loud. Yes.
I hope so. I'm very passionate about what I want to say.
Yes.
Do you remember when Trump tried to buy Greenland?
Well, he mooted purchasing Greenland, yes.
And I think Greenland's response was just that the notion was absurd.
Well, I'll give you Greenland's response. Greenland's response was... yeah.
You know, what I wanted to talk to you about, Nick, was I'm so confused about everyone's obsession with not only Trump and other people like that, but we're talking about a man who has, on record, said, I will grab women by the you-know-what.
Yeah. And then he said...
I will be so great to women. I cherish women.
Yeah, he cherishes women with both hands.
I just find it really difficult to understand how anybody can vote for someone after they said that. And it's the same with Boris Johnson.
While still spouting, it's worse than that, while still spouting that Jesus is their saviour and they're guided by the Lord, they still voted for a man like Donald Trump. It's the hypocrisy is just staggering. I mean, it's just, it's awesome to behold.
It is, isn't it? It's unfathomable, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
it
can't
is.
even think that anyone would do that. But it's the same. It's the same that's happening in our country. You know, you see things that Boris has said, not only recently but in his illustrious career, in lies and spouting absolute crazy things. And I just am fascinated by the psychology of the people who still think, you know, you might argue that actually in our country we don't really have sort of presidential scheme where you vote for the person, you vote more for the party, but the way that our country...
No, you don't. I know that technically, and people get all het up about this when I say that you vote for your prime minister. They say, "Oh no, actually, don't you know anything? You don't vote for your prime minister. You vote for your local representative." Yes, technically, yes, you do, but you have the prime minister in mind. I bet if I went to the street and asked 100 people who their local MP is, I bet I wouldn't get a single positive response. But you know who the leader of the party you voted for is.
Exactly, Nick. So listen, I've had an idea, and this is what I wanted to call you about, and I wanted to run this past you because I think you
lay it on me, baby.
You're a leading authority, and I think you're the man who would know.
Oh,
so listen,
of course.
How about this for an idea, right? So everybody has the right to vote. Yeah, we agreed on that. Yeah.
Well, we agreed on that. That's technically correct, or that it should be that way.
Exactly. So, right.
Wait a minute. Which is it? Are you saying that everybody should have the right to vote, or that they do have the right to vote?
No, sorry, Nick. I was saying that everybody has the right to vote in the electoral system right now. I'm not about
terrible system.
Either side.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm just saying everybody right now who has the right to vote. How about this for a slight amendment to that voting system? Once they cast their vote, they will then be asked 5 very simple questions about who they've just voted for. I'm talking about their policy, the very simple things about what that person who they've just voted for, what they believe in. And
name one policy that person represents.
Exactly. And it'd be very simple, 5 very simple questions. For example, do they believe in, rights for these people, or do they believe in whatever it is? And if they answer one of those questions wrong out of those 5, then their vote won't be counted.
Executed on the spot, or is that going too far?
Well, no, not executed on the spot. I mean, figuratively speaking, they would be executed on the spot with regards to their vote. But I just think there's so many people that vote these days that have no idea what they're voting for. They're just voting for, much like the American system, where they're just voting for a celebrity.
And here's why the Labour Party need to think long and hard about who they invite to be their next leader. You do not want to put somebody in that position that cannot win elections. It doesn't matter what they believe in or how passionately they are keen on helping the little people, not leprechauns.
Yeah.
You don't make no never mind. You've got to persuade people who wouldn't vote for you to vote for you. And you can't have some shrieking person. You can't have somebody who does not come through the TV. You can't have somebody who is not likable. And I think that they're about to elect someone who's not likable. So that's the Labour Party done and dusted then.
So surely then the idea of having the 5-question the 5-question prerequisite is to allowing your vote to go through should then go through to the parties as well before they elect their leaders. So if they put their vote down for a leader, they also have to answer 5 questions as to why they think they're good.
Right. Well,
and if any of
the way you're doing it is seems to be the wrong way around. This might sound I'm about to say something controversial.
Oh, no.
Not only should you have to pass a test before you vote, but you should also have to pass a test before you procreate. That's right. I've said it.
Nick, you've gone on to a very, very, I don't want to say sore subject, but actually it's quite an enjoyable
Is it sore?
subject to
Well,
my
it's probably your technique, Richard.
oh, goodness me, Nick. Well, you would know. But there should be something in place, Nick, because there's so many children out there who grow up in environments that are, we couldn't even imagine how bad they were. And the moral question is as to whether they should they actually be allowed to be brought up in that situation. You could argue that, yes, they'll be brought into care, but surely is that any better than,
I don't know what it is you're doing with the phone, Richard, but it sounds. Hopefully, you've got both hands above the table. But it's impossible to hear what you're saying over the rustling, man. But anyway, leave it with me. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Maybe abortion should be extended to 35 years. About 35 years old. We'll make up our mind about people up to the age of 35. If you manage to make it to 35, then you're free and clear. But there should be some sort of deciding process up to the age of 35 to abort you at any time. Hands up, who's with me? That's not a controversial thing to say, is it? Of course not. It's just plain common sense.
I am not one of your fans!
This says, I think a more hypocritical organisation than the Republican Party could perhaps be the Catholic Church. Well, you may have a point. Robin tweets, France cannot unilaterally tax America as, unlike us, it is a member of the EU and they set its rules. No, you can. You do have control over taxation. You do. But, never mind, these are only facts and nobody's remotely interested in those anymore. 0345 6060 973. Bracknell. Hello, John.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Great show you have there. Really wonderful.
Thanks,
really
John.
enjoy it.
But?
Well, I like to wheel back a bit, something you
Yeah.
were talking about earlier concerning the Archbishop of Canterbury and Mr. Simpson talking about marriage. Just, I think he has every really right to voice the views of the teaching that are held in the Gospels, seeing as I believe that...
Well, if they actually lived to the word of the teachings of the gospel, then they might have a justifiable position in trying to impose those teachings on the rest of us. But they don't, do they?
A lot of them have gone in disgrace, haven't they? But
yes, too many. No other business on earth could survive the mass child raping that has been levelled at the various churches. There isn't a single other business in the world that could have survived after all of the proven allegations against them. And yet they do. And yet people still think that they speak on behalf of God, him or herself.
Well, there's a lot of good priests and fine people in there. I think they ought to be allowed to voice their views. The teachings of the church still has to come through, doesn't it? Regardless.
Why does it? People aren't interested in that in this country anymore. The vast majority of people are not remotely interested. Why do they? I mean, they can say what they want. I'm not disputing that. But whether or not that might be hypocritical is down to your own beliefs, I suppose. Yeah. I believe that it certainly is. But what I can't understand is the prominence that those opinions are given in the press. Why do the press still report what some bloke at the Church of England does or does not say.
Well, I think that in their minds it is important.
It isn't. It is not important at all. It is absolutely not important.
Well,
any more than what music you listen to is important, or who you love is important nationally or internationally. It's not important.
The way they report it, I see what you mean. The way they report it, it is an overall important thing.
But it isn't
to the world,
though.
Isn't it? To the world.
No, it is not.
I do. But I would say it is. as a churchgoer and I as an organist, in fact.
Okay, well, how old are you, John?
Oh, now that would be saying, wouldn't it? What decade am I in?
80. You're in the 80th. Your 80th decade.
No.
Well, you're certainly in your 70th decade.
No.
I bet you are.
Not quite there. No.
Your 60th decade.
Oh.
Right, 60th decade. Yeah, you'll be among the youngest people in church, John, I bet.
Well, I go to a full church, and there's a
I very much doubt that. How big is that church?
No, it's quite,
Seats 3.
There's several services there, and Sunday morning is pretty full.
Well, then that's an unusual church you're in there, John. Are you giving away free tea and crumpets?
Oh, they have something afterwards, but no, it's well attended. There are quite a number of well attended.
Well, I very much. Okay, well, I'll believe you. I'm not calling you a liar, but if that is true, then it is a very unusual church you're at, because there ain't nobody sitting in them pews no more. And it's certainly no young people. They're just flat out not interested, with good reason. Why would they be? Thanks, John. 0345 6060 973. Sue says, are you having a special show next Friday? We will need something to make us laugh. Why? What's happening next Friday? I can't think. Oh yeah. Premature ebongulation. I haven't been given. I don't know. They haven't talked to me personally. Well, they've said that something might be happening. I think that at the moment of our glorious exit, there will be a special show, but I won't be on it. I think I'll be on the special show, a later edition after the special show. But for more than that, I don't know. Paul says, like 5 O's. So, we have a government not prepared to scrutinise the withdrawal bill in case of unforeseen consequences. Our ally that we're relying on for sunny uplands has basically implied if we don't be the poodle again, we won't get a trade deal. Wow, it's a mess, but we're walking into it. Is this how the Titanic ended up hitting an iceberg? What, walking into it? No, I'm pretty sure that we didn't walk into it, although I'll have to re-see that film, when I get a spare 6 hours. That stupid woman at the end chucked that giant jewel into the sea. What did she want to do that for? I should have said spoiler alert.
Warning!
Oliver says, Nick, I asked Amazon... Now, you have to say this next word very, very quietly, otherwise your machine will perk up. I asked Amazon Alexa to look up your upcoming podcast with Carol. It thought about it and then went into recovery mode. It thought about it as Carol and then shut right down.
Oh, right, yeah.
Couldn't stand it, not even the thought of it. Here's a call in Horsham. Hello, Richard.
Oh, mate, hello.
Where are you, Richard?
I'm in Horsham.
Oh, there you are. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there you go. Can you hear me all right?
I can now.
Yeah, jolly good. But apart from the fact that I'm really quite enjoying your show because you seem to be banging all over the place.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
But
the reason I phoned up was on an environmental issue.
Ah, yes.
And I don't know, because I don't know if you've been talking about this, but I jumped into your show and you've been all over the place. And I've got opinions on all of that if you want, but never mind that.
Yeah.
My environmental issue,
yes,
was a very simple question. If you have a greenhouse which is full of CO2 and is heating up and is our worst problem that the whole world has.
Yeah.
Now, the experts say, we're going to put all that CO2 back underground. We're going to grow trees.
No, that's the last thing we need to do. We need to kill all the trees and concrete over nature in order to save humankind.
Okay. Well, that I don't think that would work very well.
Well, we should at least give it a go.
My question was,
but go on.
Look, rather than trying to put all that CO2 back in the ground,
yes,
because look, never mind that. Why don't we vent it out to space? There must be a technical way where you've got this gas and you just shoot it out into space.
Yeah, squirt it out into space.
Yeah, why not?
Well, that's a very good idea, Richard.
Well, that's one thing, Well, bring it down to a level, then you can carry on using all the fossil fuels you like, and Saudi Arabia is the richest country in the world, and all the rest of that.
It isn't, but go on.
But, otherwise you have to... Another question is...
Oh, goodness me, you've got another question? Go ahead.
Well, it's not a question, it's just a basic arithmetic thing.
Oh.
Okay?
Arithmetic. I'm an expert on arithmetic.
How much is being pumped out? How much CO2 does that give us?
Yeah, 6.
Therefore, how much CO2 is being pumped into the atmosphere?
8.3.
Is that the answer?
It is the answer. 8.3.
8.3 what?
Exactly. 8.3 watts.
8.3 what? So do we need to vent 8.3, whatever it is, out into space every year?
We certainly do, Richard, and I'm contacting NASA on your behalf.
Okay, well, ask them if there's a way of venting it rather than sticking it in trees, because Great Britain would look really weird if it was all covered in pine trees.
Yeah, okay, and there's no kind of thing to park a car underneath. Trust me, I know. Don't park your car underneath a pine tree, because apart from all the bird poop, the sap that comes out of pine trees, I don't know how it manages to squirt it up itself, because sap is like super glue. Once it's on your car, it's not coming off. I don't know how people get that stuff off there. It's just impossible. Do not park your car underneath a pine tree. Trust me when I tell you. All right, thanks a lot, Richard. So we need to, that is the answer. We need to squirt it straight out into space. We actually need to put a mask over a cow's face with a giant long tube that goes out of our own atmosphere so they can burp up there. Charlie says, good morning from a rainy, miserable Baghdad. I just wanted to say that you're correct in every respect. Well, that is true. It's raining in Baghdad, like you don't have enough problems as it is. He went there for the weather. Maybe he's on holiday. Maybe he's on holiday. Oh my God, look at the time again. What's wrong with me? Well, let's make a list.
Don't touch me, or I'll kill you.
That's fair warning. Scott says politics has become another hemisphere of entertainment. Hemisphere? It's hemispherical, baby. He says maybe instead of an election we'll have a phone-in, much like Britain's Got Talent, but instead we'll call it Britain's Got Shafted. Sounds like a listener with material to me. This says Americans ruined Cadbury's, yet we want to trust them for a trade deal. Really? They ruined Cadbury's? Did they? Wasn't it always cheap chocolate like? What is it? Oh, I better not pick a fight with a major multinational. Don't eat it myself, but never mind. I'm sure it's a delight in every respect. Wendy says, it's because of you that I only buy organic eggs. Now I understand free-range eggs isn't what I thought. Thank you, says Wendy. No, thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, free-range ain't what you thought. If you look into it, free-range is not remotely how it is depicted in the picture on the egg box that you buy. Because it looks like it's cider with Rosie, or what's that old... I can never remember. David Jason was in it. That old show about farming, or a lovely farming. And he just had a few chickens and a couple of goats. Oh, it was lovely. It was this. What was that show called?
Only Fools and Horses.
Only Fools and Horses is the wrong answer. You even listening to what I'm saying? Farming. Anyway, some bucolic idyll where a couple of chickens would be scratching around the farmhouse yard. And, oh boy, they were so happy they'd laugh the eggs out. Which is, the only kind of egg that you want to buy. You want to buy an egg that was, the chicken was laughing so much, an egg squirted out of its bottom. Those are the kind of eggs that you want to buy. But that's not what free range means. You want to buy orgasmic, baby. Only buy orgasmic eggs. That's my recommendation to you. Or don't. I don't care. Darling buds of May. That's right. Keith says, Ramonas are still crying. He. Keith, East Midlands, brackets, Conservative. Is one of these guys who thinks that he's won something. I do find it kind of touching, Keith, with a tinge of sadness with what's about to befall you. Because ironically, the negative effects of us leaving the biggest trading bloc in the world, the only time any major economy has ever attempted something quite so stupid, the effects of that will not be felt where people voted to remain. In London, for instance, which is already globally facing. It will be felt in places that voted to leave, where in the industrial heartlands, as much as they still exist, the places that make cars and airplane parts and engines and all of that sort of thing. The businesses that are just-in-time production lines. All of those places, you're going to be suffering big time. Unless everything is perfect as advertised when we leave the European Union, and then you can say, I told you so, Keith. But until then, I wouldn't go out spending money that you ain't got on things you don't need. James says, if the first question prior to granting permission to procreators was, do you think that, in the face of the overwhelming evidence that Brexit was a good idea, we would instantly halve the potential population of these islands? Well, but he doesn't come down saying which way he thinks, although I have my suspicions. And John says, why is it that everyone these days answers a question with the word so? Well, it would be alarming if that was all that they said. If all they said was so, then that would be worrying. It's just people gathering their thought. That's all. Don't worry about it. Streatham, hello, Joy. An ecstasy of fumbling. Yes, Joy.
Morning.
Yes, Joy.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Right now, oh my God, I'm not sure why this topic has come up.
Are you whispering to me, Joy?
No, I'm not whispering. Is
Right.
it better?
A little bit.
Is it better?
No.
No?
Not better now, no.
Oh my God, and this is actually the fantastic
It's getting worse, Joy.
Oh God, should I put it? Okay, I'm going to put it. Right, here we go. Is it better?
No.
Oh God, listen, I'm not a technician.
Yes.
I'm not an engineer. Even though
You
I'm
can
a
say that
engineer.
again. Did your phone come with instructions?
Oh, it did, but it's not an instruction that I can even understand, no matter.
Are you holding it the right way up? Let me ask you that.
You know what? Yeah. Is this better?
No.
Any better?
Not now, no.
You know what? Oh God, now I wish.
You're getting fainter, Joy.
Okay, I'm going to hold this right
there.
here.
Right there. Perfect. And we'll never know what she called about, because that's it. If you subscribe to this podcast, the next episode will get squirted up your life, as though by magic, on Mondays. And don't forget the other podcasts that I do. There's the one that I do with Carol McGiffin called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while not laughing too much. If you would like us to have a bash at your issue, send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. That's nickandcarol@global.com. And prepare for total satisfaction. There's also the Whole Show podcast, which is, as it sounds, the whole show that I do on the radio, Friday and Saturday night. We take the news and the ads out, which means it takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and concerned greenies won't have to superglue their hands to your face. And I'll be back on the radio Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. And until then, I'll be seeing you.
Bye-bye.